Part 22. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi-Sing Cao. Chapter 213. 211. In the Research Institute, like the Army, most of them are men, and there are relatively few women. Zhou Yuanchao is a normal man who always thinks about this issue when he sees beautiful lesbians. Stay away from that woman, Huo Yingzhi reminded, not wanting that woman to cause harm to his friends. Zhou Yuanchao was stunned and frowned. Brother, we can't have a problem with our style. My sister-in-law is so beautiful and nice, and who in our entire institute doesn't envy you for having a good partner? Although we are far apart, you are young after all. There will always be a chance to get together in the future. Huo Yingzhi said in confusion, my partner and I have a very good relationship. Then why were you paying attention to that female doctor just now and asking me to stay away? Zhou Yuanchao said clearly, we are men in the new era. 3 wives and 4 concubines are not popular. This kind of style is not a problem. After hearing this, Huo Yingzhi said with a wry smile, hey, to tell you the truth, that Zhou Yuanyuan is a family friend of ours. She and my sister are good friends. During the Chinese New Year, she even gave me a scarf, but I didn't ask for it and refused sternly. She's gone. Now that she's working here, she probably won't give up. If she catches up, she'll be in a lot of trouble in the future. Zhou Yuanchao suddenly realized it and said, that's it? Then you should be careful. Take care of yourself in the future and don't come to the hospital of our research institute. I will never come to this place in my life, and I don't want to come either, Huo Yingzhi whispered, have a good meal, and I will go back after the dialysis injection is done. Okay, I'll wait for you and send you back to the dormitory, and then I'll go back to the work unit. Zhou Yuanchao agreed. This man is good looking and has many peach blossoms. I don't know what will happen in the future. Although he has never met Huo Yingzhi's partner, from the photo and the things he usually sends to Huo Yingzhi, he can tell that she is a good girl. He also ate a lot of those things, and he would help Huo Yingzhi drive away other peach blossoms in the future. After eating, Huo Yingzhi saw that the bottles were finished and asked Zhou Yuanchao to find the nurse. This time it was not Zhou Yuanyuan, but a young nurse. Huo Yingzhi breathed a sigh of relief, but he really didn't know how to get along with Zhou Yuanyuan. He had made it clear enough, but Zhou Yuanyuan didn't listen. I don't know what she was thinking. What does she, Zhou Yuanyuan, like about him? Can't he change it? Huo Yingzhi has now recovered more than half of his condition. Except for his feet being a little soft, there is nothing serious. Zhou Yuanchao went through the discharge procedures and helped Huo Yingzhi leave. Zhou Yuanyuan stood by the window on the 2nd floor of the hospital, looking obsessively at Huo Yingzhi, the man she had liked since she was a child. From the first time she met Huo Yingzhi, her eyes had been focused on him. Among the crowd, he was so outstanding. She liked him so much, but why didn't Huo Yingzhi like her at all? Is it because of that little educated youth He Tian? However, now that she was close to Huo Yingzhi, she was bound to win Huo Yingzhi. As for those cats and dogs, they are definitely no match for her. Huo Yingzhi shivered while walking, thinking it was the wind. Zhou Yuanchao sent Huo Yingzhi to the dormitory, poured a cup of hot water, then took a book and placed it in front of Huo Yingzhi's bed. After preparing these, he went to the work unit. Huo Yingzhi walked all the way and felt a little sleepy. After going to the toilet, he fell asleep again. This is a bit unsettled in sleep, and it is not a good dream. I think about it every day and dream about it at night. Huo Yingzhi dreamed that Zhou Yuanyuan would often cry, make trouble, and hang herself, and pester him. Everyone in the institute said that he was in 2 different places, had a problematic style, and was criticized by everyone. What makes him even more sad is that Tianbao misunderstood him and wanted to break up with him. The sky and earth in the dream were dark, and his heart was also dark. Ah! Huo Yingja couldn't stand the heartache and depression in the dream, so he finally woke up and breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that it was a dream. After picking up the teacup next to him and taking a few sips, Huo Yingja couldn't help but shake his head and smile bitterly. Not only does he have to overcome the chaos in the outside world, he also conducts arduous experiments, and now there is a restless bomb beside him. Maybe he should talk to the leader and transfer Zhou Yuanyuan. But now that he is looking for the leader, this reason doesn't make sense. After all, others don't know what Zhou Yuanyuan has done. Oh, what a headache. Huo Yingja couldn't sleep, so he started to get up and write a letter to He Tiantian. Thinking of He Tiantian, Huo Yingja's heart felt warm and calm. This is the salvation of his life. Without Tianbao, his life would still be so dull and boring. Zhou Yuanyuan did not pester him all day long as Huo Yingja imagined, which made Huo Yingja feel relieved. As long as she doesn't pester him, Huo Yingja will not take the initiative to find Zhou Yuanyuan. I hope it can always be like this. Huo Yingja had his own research team, and General Manager Sun assigned 2 people to Huo Yingja. One was Qian Miao Miao to do some paperwork and the other was Tangxin Liang. Like Huo Yingja, they are all newcomers to the institute, but they are not as good as Huo Yingja. Huo Yingja transferred Zhou Yuanchao over again and formed a 4-person team. Qian Miao Miao was able to join this group because she begged Director Lu. At first, Qian Miao Miao had reverie about Huo Yingja, but she didn't expect that the gentle Huo Yingja would enter the laboratory. He would be a devil and would not make any mistakes. As long as she is a little slow or does something wrong, what awaits her is a barrage of bombardments. Although they are not insulting words, every word makes people tremble violently. Under such circumstances, no matter how good-looking the face is, it cannot arouse Qian Miao Miao's favor. Haha, Xiao Qian, how is your work lately? Director Lu asked curiously. Haha, this niece was not good at things when she came here, but she has become much more stable and made a lot of progress during this period. Qian Miao Miao took a sip of water and sighed, work is on track and I have learned a lot but my heart is empty. Director Lu thought Qian Miao Miao had been rejected, and was worried that the girl would not be able to think about it, so he tried to persuade her. Oh, you kid, Huo Yingja has a partner. You are a good girl, so you can't get involved. When Qian Miao Miao heard this, he quickly waved his hand to explain and said, Director Lu, you misunderstood me. I have given up long ago. Even if Huo Yingja doesn't have a girlfriend, I won't fall in love with him. Director Lu was puzzled. Before, this girl had been thinking about working with Huo Yingja all day long, and then she came to a first-come first-served basis. It had only been half a month, so why had she changed so much? Oh, I don't understand how you young people today can say that they have changed. Director Lu pretended not to know anything and asked with a smile, please tell me carefully. Your mother told me to take good care of you before you can't hide it from me. Qian Miao Miao knew that Director Lu was doing it for her own good, and she did not hide it in front of Director Lu. She said in an old-fashioned way, Huo Yingja is cool, polite, and gentle in front of others, but these are all appearances. When working, Huo Yingja he is a devil who only treats things, not people. He will never lower his demands on me because I am a woman. Whenever I make a mistake, he will criticize me and make me feel that my mistake is a sinner of history. Haha, as long as you can understand it, you are a research madman. Director Lu felt proud that her plan had succeeded, and she would not have to worry about this girl going astray in the future. The villainous female supporting character is catching up, hee. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 214. Chapter 214. You and I are just colleagues. 1340 plus. 212. The face of an angel and the heart of a devil are those of Huo Yingja. Those who are near the water can get the moon first, but they often drown people, and they can even draw water from a bamboo basket in vain. Yes, I understand, so I don't like him anymore, Chien Meow Meow said. Auntie, you don't have to worry about me anymore. That's good, Director Lu said happily. Do it well and Auntie will keep an eye on the young talents here. Chien Meow Meow was embarrassed and said with a smile, Auntie, I'm still young, so there's no need to be in such a hurry. It's okay. I'll leave first. There's still a lot of work to be done. If you can't finish it, you'll get scolded again. After Chien Meow Meow received the office supplies, she did not dare to stay and left quickly. When Director Lu saw Chien Meow Meow leaving, he smiled happily. For smart girls, life will always be smoother. Chien Meow Meow took the things and returned to the laboratory. When she heard Huo Yingjia's voice, she was so excited that she quickly found a corner to hide. Come out, no need to hide, distribute the things quickly, and we will conduct the next group of tests. Huo Yingjia explained that this was a critical subject. Although he knew the results, he had to go through rigorous tests before he could pass the test. Chief Engineer's review. Yes, boss, Chien Meow Meow quickly distributed the things and joined in the work. 3 hours later, the experiment was completed. Okay, you guys should sort out the information and give it to me. We'll complete the task ahead of schedule. You don't have to go to work in the afternoon. You can rest, Huo Yingjia said softly, which was completely different from the demon who spoke loudly during the experiment. If you didn't know Huo Yingjia to a certain extent, you would definitely think that he was a madman with a split personality. Although working with Huo Yingjia is very hard, the rewards are huge. Not only are there bonuses, there are physical rewards, and there are also holidays. Yes, several people were very happy. They had a good meal and a good sleep in the evening. Huo Yingjia returned to his office and started writing a report. When his subordinates had sorted out the experimental data, he would check it and hand it over to Chief Engineer Sun. This task was completed 5 days ahead of schedule. After that, there would be the next task, and he would have to do it ahead of schedule. After completing these few tasks, he can probably apply for 10 days of vacation. Huo Yingjia admitted that he missed He Tian very much. Because of confidentiality, He Tian couldn't come here, so Huo Yingjia could only find a way out. In order to achieve this goal, the tasks he received from Chief Engineer Sun were all very arduous. Fortunately, he had the right idea and avoided some detours, so this approach was feasible. At noon, after Huo Yingjia sorted it out and handed the report to Chief Engineer Sun, he went to the cafeteria to eat. Zhou Yuanchao had prepared meals and was waiting for Huo Yingjia. Instead of waiting for Huo Yingjia, Zhou Yuan did. Where's Huo Yingjia? Zhou Yuan asked, not at all polite. Zhou Yuanchao was stunned. Hey, this is a little girl who was spoiled by her family. In addition to being gentle in front of Huo Yingjia, he was polite and condescending in front of others. We are all colleagues. Even if you have a good family background, you cannot put yourself above others and look down on others. In the office, Zhou Yuanchao said, without waiting for Huo Yingjia, he took his lunch box and started eating. Zhou Yuan saw 2 lunch boxes on the table and asked, are these Huo Yingjia's? Yes, Zhou Yuanchao was such a talkative person, but in front of Zhou Yuan, he didn't want to say a word. What a blessing, no such woman likes him. Since the food is here, Zhou Yuan will wait here. Huo Yingjia will come back for dinner anyway. By the time Huo Yingjia arrived, Zhou Yuanchao had already eaten most of it. Although there was braised pork in it, there was a woman sitting opposite, and Zhou Yuanchao was a little confused. When Huo Yingjia saw Zhou Yuan, his eyes darkened. Why did he come to see him again? Huo Yingjia sat eating, as if he hadn't seen Zhou Yuan. Brother Yingjia, I heard that you have completed your mission and have a little vacation. Let's go out for a walk, Zhou Yuan said. She had already inquired before coming. Huo Yingzhe didn't raise his head and continued to eat, but didn't speak. Brother Yingzhe, where am I talking to you? Why don't you answer me? Zhou Yuanyuan said sadly. Every time she saw Huo Yingzhe, she was so angry that she thought she would never talk to him again. But after I went back, I couldn't see Huo Yingzhe, and I missed him very much. She was poisoned by a poison called Huo Yingzhe. Don't talk when you eat or sleep, Huo Yingzhe said briefly, continuing to eat without raising his head. Zhou Yuanyuan blushed and felt thick-necked. Huo Yingzhe's words made her look vulgar and uneducated. Zhou Yuanchao hurriedly finished his meal in several bites and left with his lunch box. In such a situation, it would be superfluous for him to be on the sidelines. Zhou Yuanyuan's eye knife had already pierced several holes in his body. Huo Yingzhe was indeed hungry. Compared with talking to Zhou Yuanyuan, eating was a kind of enjoyment. Huo Yingzhe finished the food in the lunch box, covered the lunch box, and went to wash the lunch box. Now that you've finished eating, can we talk? Zhou Yuanyuan asked, worried that if Huo Yingzhe went back to the dormitory or the office, she wouldn't have a chance to talk. Huo Yingzhe looked at Zhou Yuanyuan steadily. There was no intimacy in his eyes, not even the intimacy between acquaintances. He said, "Tell me, what's going on?" Zhou Yuanyuan bit her lip and said aggrievedly, "Brother Yingzhe, it was Yinky who asked me to go out to play together. We are new here and don't know where there is fun. I want you to show us around." Upon hearing this, Huo Yingzhe was stunned and asked, "Where is Huo Yinky?" "She is stationed at a unit not far from our research institute, and she is a doctor there," Zhou Yuanyuan said. "She wrote to me and said that she has a day off tomorrow and can come out. I will also have a day off, and you don't have to work. Let's go out for a walk together." If it were just Huo Yinky, as the elder brother, Huo Yingzhe would take Huo Yinky out for a walk. But now there is Zhou Yuanyuan who is eyeing him covetously, and Huo Yingzhe will not go out no matter what. "You go ahead, I'm not free." After Huo Yingzhe said that, he took the lunch box and stood up to leave. Zhou Yuanyuan was stunned. She didn't expect that Huo Yinky would not agree to move out. "Huo Yingzhe, don't do this to me," Zhou Yuanyuan lost her voice, "you can't do this to me either." There were other people eating in the canteen. Seeing Zhou Yuanyuan say this, they all looked at Huo Yingzhe. Everyone's eyes were wrong. Everyone knew that Huo Yingzhe had an educated youth lover due to Director Liu's publicity. Now another woman came, who seemed to be a doctor from the Research Institute Hospital. The one who was crying must be Huo Yingzhe. Huo Yingzhe turned around and said coldly, "You and I are just colleagues, please respect yourself. Don't say those misleading words. I rejected you from the beginning and will never accept you in the future. The male protagonist is great, please give me a reward." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 215. Ouch, these words are so exciting. I have long heard that Huo Yingzhe is a genius, but I never expected that he is also a genius when it comes to the relationship between men and women. Huo Yingzhe could just look down on such a beautiful girl with such a good family background, but she could refuse her so sternly and show no mercy at all. Wow! Zhou Yuanyuan covered her face and cried, "Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me? I don't like you." "Isn't this normal for you?" Huo Yingzhe said again, "What you did has caused trouble to me. I hope you will respect yourself in the future." Zhou Yuanyuan cried so hard that she thought she was at home and ignored her. When Director Liu saw that things were going like this, he quickly came out, pushed Huo Yingzhe and said, "You should leave quickly. Even if you don't like someone, you can't be so heartless." Huo Yingzhe also knew what he said was mean, but he had no choice. "If you don't push it away now, You won't be able to push it away in the future. Huo Yingzhe turned around and left, ignoring Zhou Yuanyuan who was crying behind him. Everyone, keep eating, Director Lu said loudly. It was already embarrassing to be rejected in person, but it was even more embarrassing to be watched by others. Seeing this, everyone started to eat and looked up from time to time. Director Lu said to Zhou Yuanyuan, "Dr. Zhou, come to the office with me." Zhou Yuanyuan felt sad and lost her mind. After hearing what Director Lu said, she followed Director Lu away. While walking, Zhou Yuanyuan calmed down her mood and regretted her rude behavior just now. Now that Huo Yingzhe has made it clear in front of everyone that he has nothing to do with her, it will be even more difficult to get close to him in the future. When they arrived at the office, Director Lu poured a glass of water for Zhou Yuanyuan and said, "Dr. Zhou, drink water." Hey, such a stubborn girl can easily get killed if she is not enlightened in time. Director Lu is someone who has been here before and is responsible for personnel matters, which falls within her scope of work. This week Yuanyuan is not very old, and her family seems to be unusual, otherwise she would not have squeezed out the original doctor, and she came to be the doctor. If something happens to Zhou Yuanyuan in her place, she, the director, will also be held responsible. Zhou Yuanyuan wiped her eyes, lowered her head and said, "Thank you." After drinking hot water, Zhou Yuanyuan felt calmer. "Dr. Zhou, how old are you this year?" Director Lu asked softly, with a smile and a gentle voice. 19 years old, Zhou Yuanyuan replied. She was 2 months younger than Huo Yingzhe and a few days younger than Huo Yingqi. It is not easy to become a doctor at the age of 19. You must be smart to become a doctor at such a young age, Director Lu said. You lost your temper in the cafeteria just now. Zhou Yuanyuan nodded and said, "Yes, I lost my temper, but when I saw Huo Yingzhe being cold to me, I couldn't control myself. Alas, another woman trapped in love. She is still a stubborn woman." Do you know that Huo Yingzhe has a partner?" Director Lu asked, wanting to see how Zhou Yuanyuan would answer. Zhou Yuanyuan was embarrassed and couldn't admit it in front of Director Lu. Otherwise, Director Lu and others would look down upon her even more. "I don't know," Zhou Yuanyuan said, "I haven't seen him before. He is perfunctory with me." Seeing this, Director Lu was slightly relieved and said, "Then I will have a good talk with you." Huo Yingzhe has already told the work unit that he has a partner, and he is supporting rural construction in the countryside, and his parents also agree to their relationship. Letters exchanged, I handle the examinations, and I know they have a good relationship. You are smart, a doctor, and beautiful. You will have a good marriage in the future, so there is no need to spend time on Huo Yingzhe. In fact, Zhou Yuanyuan knew all this, but she liked Huo Yingzhe. When she thought of Huo Yingzhe being with other women in the future, she couldn't help but want to destroy that woman. She couldn't tolerate Huo Yingzhe being with other women. "I can't stand it." "Oh, I understand," Zhou Yuanyuan whispered. "If Director Lu is okay, I will go back first." Director Lu was stunned, and after seeing Zhou Yuanyuan's actions, he guessed that Zhou Yuanyuan might not be aware of Hetianation's existence, but just didn't want to say it out of face. Hey, good-looking men are also a disaster. From now on, the term disaster will not only be used for women. Huo Yingzhe is a disaster. After finally convincing Qian Miao Miao, another Zhou Yuanyuan came. Director Lu is very big-headed. Based on Director Liu's more than 20 years of human resources work, it can be seen that this Zhou Yuanyuan is different from Qian Miao Miao. Qian Miao Miao has a good temper and is simple. As long as she recognizes everything about Huo Yingzhe, she may not like Huo Yingzhe. Just like now, even if you give her 100 courages, she won't be able to marry Huo Yingzhe. Idea. Now to Qian Miao Miao, Huo Yingzhe is a leader, a respected leader, a serious scientific researcher, a good friend, and nothing else. But Zhou Yuanyuan is different. She is a stubborn woman. Zhou Yuanyuan left here, and Director Lu quickly sent people to find Huo Yingzhe and asked Huo Yingzhe to come to her office in the afternoon. In the afternoon, Huo Yingzhe had nothing to do. When someone sent a message, he knew that Director Lu would probably ask him about Zhou Yuanyuan. His position was very firm. When Director Lu asked, he told the truth. Things between men and women are easy to say and difficult to say. He is not an ordinary young man who is sloppy and vague, and in the end causes even more harm. Duck duck duck, Huo Yingzhe knocked on the door. Come in, Director Lu said calmly. She had been thinking about this issue. Hey, busy. Her job is to be the ant in the sub-district office. From office supplies and environmental sanitation at work to eating, drinking, and personal emotions in daily life, we have to be busy. When Huo Yingzhe came in, Director Lu pointed to the chair in front of him and asked, "Sit down. Do you know why I asked you to come here?" "I know," Huo Yingzhe nodded. "Is it related to Zhou Yuanyuan?" "Do you still know?" "Today in the cafeteria, it was too much," Director Lu said. "I am a little girl after all, and you said it so heartlessly. What if the little girl can't think about it?" Seeing Director Lu being so miserable, Huo Yingzhe smiled bitterly and said, "Director Lu, I usually do scientific research and am already very tired. I only have so much energy and so many feelings. I can only hold my sweet baby in my heart. As for other people, since I don't like the other person, I have to say no. As the saying goes, dating without the purpose of marriage is a hooliganism. I do this for myself and for Zhou Yuanyuan. Don't waste time." Huo Yingzhe's words were righteous and well-founded. The chapter names are very long, but they are very enjoyable. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi-Sing Cao. Chapter 216. Director Lu was stunned after hearing what Huo Yingzhe said. Oops, Huo Yingzhe not only does good scientific research, but also has a firm stance and has very noble thoughts. Falling in love without the purpose of getting married is a hooliganism. It's so good. Do not delay yourself or the other party. Yes, you can stand firm, and you are indeed a good young man in our unit, Director Lu said with a smile. I'm afraid that if you don't stand firm, there will be problems with your style, which will affect your work. It's not just your loss. It is also a loss for our entire institute. Huo Yingzhe's performance was very impressive in the entire Weapons Research Institute. Don't worry, Director, I will not meet Zhou Yuanyuan in private in the future, Huo Yingzhe said. I will keep a distance from her and will never go too far. Director Lu nodded and said, if you can say that, I can rest assured. Hey, that little girl is not an innocent girl like Meow Meow at first glance. You should be more careful in the future. If you can, you and Zhou Yuanyuan should contact your family and ask them to remove Zhou Yuanyuan from our unit as soon as possible. Oh, Huo Yingzhe agreed. I will tell my family about this. Director Lu was relieved now. Zhou Yuanyuan and Huo Yingzhe's families were both extraordinary, and she didn't want to become a victim of their fighting. As long as you have an idea, you can go back, Director Lu said. Work is important, but your body is more important. Don't work so hard. Huo Yingzhe's hard work is one of the best in the research institute, otherwise he wouldn't have fainted from exhaustion last time. You must know that Huo Yingzhe is a highly sophisticated talent. His body and brain are not only Huo Yingzhe's personal property, but also the wealth of the country. It's not peaceful outside right now, but things are fine inside their institute. Those who fall behind will be beaten, and the country has lagged behind other countries. Country M and the Soviet Union are both developing into space. Under such historical lessons, there was no turmoil in the material supply and personnel arrangements in their institute. The people here are treasures and must not be affected. Forget it, she is just the director of a research institute. Why do she think so much? As long as you complete the work at hand, you are contributing to the country. Goodbye, Director Huo Yingji stood up, nodded slightly, and left. As expected of someone from a big family, this magnanimity is so good. Huo Yingji did not go back to the dormitory, but went directly to Mr. Sun's office. Ah, aren't you taking a break today? Why are you in my office? Mr. Sun adjusted his glasses and looked at Huo Yingji. If you have nothing to do, come and check out the next task, Huo Yingji said. Give me the work first and I will do some preliminary work. Chief Engineer Sun put down the pen in his hand and said, you just completed your task, so you should rest for a few days. I don't want you to be admitted to the hospital again. Huo Yingji smiled and said, it's okay. I didn't stay up late and I'm not tired. Haha, do you want to take a vacation? General Manager Sun particularly likes Huo Yingji, his subordinate. He can always see his youth in Huo Yingji. Huo Yingji calmly smiled and said, yes. I want half a month or 20 days of vacation. I want to visit my little girlfriend. General Manager Sun smiled and said, okay, we who are engaged in scientific research cannot spend all day in the laboratory. Since you can arrange your time, I will arrange the work for you. After completion, I will give you half months of vacation. Thank you, Mr. Sunday, Huo Yingji said. Mr. Sun, please arrange the work. Manager Sun smiled and took a cowhide bag on the side with a top secret stamp printed on it. Take it back. If you don't understand anything, you can come and ask me, Mr. Sun said, but this was just saying that since Huo Yingji arrived at the research institute, he would say this every time he received a task, but the boy never came to ask him for advice, and he could complete the task. Thank you, Mr. Sunday, Huo Yingji thanked him. He had received so much help from this old gentleman and was always grateful. Huo Yingji took the top secret files to his office, opened the files inside, and began to assign the work content and priorities inside. This is a public relations project for new missile materials. It's what he's good at. It stipulates 3 months, but Huo Yingji doesn't need that much time. After resting for more than a day, everyone began to give up their vacation when they saw Huo Yingji starting to work. However, Huo Yingji told them that after completing this job, they could have 1 week to 10 days of vacation, which immediately made the other 3 people happy. Each received the content they were responsible for and started working in an orderly manner according to the plan designed by Huo Yingji. Let's talk about Zhou Yuanyuan's appointment with Huo Yingji to go shopping in the county town on Sunday. Huo Yingji took the car in their unit and picked up Zhou Yuanyuan at the research institute. Only then did the little warrior know that there was a research institute not far from their station, and their station had sent many people to guard it. After Zhou Yuanyuan saw Huo Yingji, she couldn't say anything and just shed tears silently. Yuanyuan, what's wrong? Have you seen your second brother? Huo Yingji asked, quickly taking out a handkerchief to wipe Zhou Yuanyuan's tears. Zhou Yuanyuan choked up and said, I saw him, but he ignored me at all. I went to find him, and he even made me look bad on the spot. Now everyone is laughing at me. In the unit, she could only cry secretly. Now that I have met my good friends, I can finally bear it no more. Even though Zhou Yuanyuan is a stubborn girl, she is only a 19-year-old girl now. Being so humble in front of the one you love is so overwhelming. Hey, you don't know that my second brother is very stubborn and will accept soft things rather than hard things. If you go up and say it, of course he won't want to, Huo Yingji said. Just like during the Chinese New Year, we acted too hastily and I'm very angry and have a bad impression of you. Yes, Zhou Yuanyuan said, I am too stupid and don't know what to do. Yingji, I really like your second brother, I really like you. Although I am embarrassed in the new unit, I still like to work I work here because I can be closer to brother Yingji. I know, so I'm here to accompany you, Huo Yingji said. By the way, my second brother didn't come out. No, he doesn't want to see me and has been avoiding me, Zhou Yuanyuan said with a bitter smile. It is estimated that she will not be able to see Huo Yingja in the near future. Hey, they are really a pair of happy enemies. They still need some time to get along, Huo Yingqi said, but you don't have to worry. You have to care about him slowly. He will get angry over time. My second brother is not a stone. Sooner or later, we can warm up. After hearing Huo Yingqi's words, Zhou Yuanyuan's shaken confidence became firmer. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Qi Xing Cao. Chapter 217. After eating some delicious food in the county town, the two of them went back to their work units. Zhou Yuanyuan wanted to care about Huo Yingja, but the place where Huo Yingja worked was closely guarded by bodyguards and she couldn't get in at all. After 8 p.m., no one is allowed to move around. Those who are on night shift must be at their workplace, those who are not on duty must be in their dormitories. Huo Yingja and other scientific researchers are exceptions. Their time is arbitrary. However, at night, people come in and out to check whether they have any notes or dangerous goods. At the same time, they are followed by no less than 2 bodyguards. By the time Huo Yingja came out of the laboratory late at night, Zhou Yuanyuan had already returned to the dormitory or was on duty in the hospital. Zhou Yuanyuan couldn't see Huo Yingja, and Huo Yingja was also very busy, so they were in peace for a short time. The work at the institute is not busy, and she is a young doctor with little experience, so she is very leisurely at the unit. She left her hometown and came here not to save lives, but to pursue her own happiness. There was nothing she could do about Huo Yingja, but she could start with that woman. Zhou Yuanyuan wanted to go to Sister Lu to find out He Tianatian's address, but Sister Lu had rich work experience and could tell Zhou Yuanyuan's plan at a glance. So Sister Lu locked all the cabinets in the office that day. Even if she had the key to her office, she would not be able to enter after entering. The research institute was not an ordinary hospital and was heavily guarded. She had no way of starting, so she had to tell Huo Yingqi while she was out. Huo Yingqi immediately promised to find He Tianatian's address for Zhou Yuanyuan. In order to let his good friend marry Huo Yingja, he spared no effort. When Huo Yingqi was on vacation, she went to her second uncle Huo Jekan and found He Tianatian's address. Zhou Yuanyuan got He Tianatian's address, imitated Huo Yingja's handwriting, and wrote a letter to He Tiantian immediately. To imitate Huo Yingja's handwriting, Zhou Yuanyuan didn't have to look for anyone else. Because she likes Huo Yingja, Zhou Yuanyuan even likes Huo Yingja's calligraphy. After seeing it a lot, she starts to imitate it, and she even has a 70–80% resemblance to it. In order to prevent Huo Yingja from writing to He Tiantian and making He Tiantian suspicious, Zhou Yuanyuan decided to cut the knot quickly. A week after Huo Yingja's letter was sent, Zhou Yuanyuan sent it. The content inside is very simple, with only words on half a page. Huo Yingja broke up with He Tiantian in the letter, saying that he had found a like-minded partner at work and did not want to have such a long-distance relationship with He Tiantian, so he wrote a breakup letter. In the envelope, Zhou Yuanyuan also put a photo of herself, hoping to use her beauty to make He Tiantian retreat. I have to say that while Zhou Yuanyuan is stubborn, she is also too confident. Let's say that He Tiantian felt so sweet after receiving Huo Yingja's letter that she read it carefully several times before writing to Huo Yingja. Niu Daijin came over this time and looked at Qi Xiaoyan with very concerned eyes. He wanted to ask, but he was worried that Qi Xiaoyan would be sad. Qi Xiaoyan saw that Niu Daijin was hesitant to speak, thinking that Niu Daijin disliked her for what happened before. She doesn't want to either. Who made Qi Jiangguo so nasty? Although it didn't succeed, it spread a lot. Niu Daijin brought 2 bottles of malted milk, gave them to Qi Xiaoyan, and left without saying anything. Qi Xiaoyan felt uncomfortable, but she didn't dare to tell her parents for fear that they would worry. But she couldn't control herself, so she ran to He Tianatian's house and cried while hugging He Tiantian. Sister Tian Tian, brother Dajan dislikes me, Chi Xiao Yan said while crying, her beautiful eyes swollen like walnuts. Tian Tian was startled and asked quickly, what's going on? Chi Xiao Yan choked and said, brother Dajan always smiled when he saw me, but now after giving me the things, he stopped talking and his expression was ugly. He must have known what Chi Jiangguo did, and brother Dajan disliked me. After hearing this, Tian Tian realized what was going on, and said comfortingly, you can think of it this way, your brother Dajan wants to comfort you, but that matter is detrimental to a girl's reputation. He wanted to comfort him, but it was difficult to speak. Impossible, although this is a new society, men also care about women's reputation. Although I have not been ruined by Chi Jiangguo, I will still be gossiped and pointed at, Chi Xiao Yan cried, twitching constantly, very pitiful. Okay, don't cry. Things haven't been figured out yet and you're crying so hard. How bad it is, Tian Tian explained, don't worry, brother Dajan will come over in a few days to get a reply. I'll ask him directly. If he really means it, you'll give up. If not, let him propose marriage as soon as possible. This will be good for both of you and reduce the gossip. Tian Tian felt guilty. If she hadn't planned it, Chi Xiao Yan might not have suffered such criticism. As long as she can bear it alone. Seeing Chi Xiao Yan crying so sadly, Tian Tian felt that she needed to resolve the matter between Niu Dajan and Chi Xiao Yan. It just so happened that she had nothing else to do now and just had time. That's the only way it can be, Chi Xiao Yan choked, hoping it wasn't what she thought. It was the first time she had true feelings. Chi Xiao Yan didn't want her feelings to die like this. A few days later, Niu Dajan came to get Tian's reply and sent another letter to Tian Tian. Chi Shulai was still so hypocritical and smiling, completely different from the sinister look in his eyes that night. Such a smile is more frightening than a cold frown. While Tian Tian was scared, she was always wary of Chi Shulai. On the other hand, Chi Shulai looked like a Maitreya Buddha, with kind eyebrows and kind eyes, and spoke softly. After Tian Tian got the letter, she thought it was from her parents, but she could tell from the envelope that it was from Huo Yingjia. If you only get one letter a month, why did you send 2 letters this month? Although he was curious, Tian Tian didn't have time to look at it now. She has more important things to talk to Niu Dajan. After coming out of the village branch, Tian Tian asked cautiously, brother Dajan, do you know what happened to Xiao Yan and me some time ago? Niu Dajan looked angry, clenched his fists and said, I know, Chi Jiangguo is that bastard. This time he got into the Zhang family, and my uncle couldn't do anything. He didn't punish Chi Jiangguo severely. He is so angry that his heart aches. Tian Tian was stunned and asked, which Zhang family? Why did the Zhang family help Chi Jiangguo? Tian Tian only knew that Chi Jiangguo had an aunt in the county, but his aunt's husband's surname was Wang, not Zhang. Niu Dajan sneered and said, haha, Chi Jiangguo is also very capable, and he actually fell in love with Zhang Huan, the daughter of the Zhang family. That girl was also obsessed with her, and was looking for life and death at home. The Zhang family had no choice but to help Chi Jiangguo. Jiangguo. I begged my uncle, but my uncle told me that he owed favor to the Zhang family in the early years, and now that the Zhang family has approached him, he cannot deny it to the Zhang family. Zhou Yuan is so annoying. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 218. After hearing this, Tian Tian suddenly realized. I see, Tian Tian said, if there were no external force, Chi Jiangguo would definitely be sentenced. Yes, that scumbag is being taken advantage of, Niu Dajan said angrily, but don't worry, I have found someone in the labor camp to teach Chi Jiangguo a lesson. He Tiantian didn't want to talk about Chi Jiangguo's affairs. Chi Xiaoyan was crying sadly. Brother Daijin, you have been very good to me since I came to Kijia village, and I regard you as my elder brother. I want to ask you something from the bottom of my heart today. Do you like Xiaoyan? He Tiantian asked, looking towards army of cattle. Upon hearing this, Niu Daijin felt a little unnatural on his face. He Tiantian was also a little suspicious, and asked again, do you dislike Xiaoyan for something like that? You know the whole story. Xiaoyan's reputation is still there. I was on the spot at the time, and I also took care of everything. Jiangguo was beaten to pieces. Seeing He Tianatian's misunderstanding, Niu Daijin quickly explained, of course I don't care about that. I'm just. When it comes to the key point, Niu Daijin can't go on. It's just what? You are a grown man, you just have to say it directly. Xiao Yan's eyes are swollen from crying because of you, He Tiantian said hurriedly. If you have feelings for Xiao Yan, you should quickly make love with her. She made it clear. You often send things but don't express your love. Xiao Yan feels unsure and will be left in mid-air. Upon hearing Chi Xiao Yan cry, Niu Daijin said anxiously, Tian, you have to comfort Xiao Yan and let her not be sad. She's not crying because of me, but because of you. If you like her, go and explain it to her. If you don't like her, also make it clear. This way, everyone will know how to get along in the future, He Tian said. These two people, they like each other, but they are deterred by some difficulties in the outside world. He Tian missed a lot in her previous life, so she cherishes every opportunity in this life and resolutely does not allow any misunderstandings. Niu Daijin's expression was pained, and he finally sighed and said, hey, I like Xiao Yan, but I am several years older than Xiao Yan, and Xiao Yan is about to take the art troupe exam, and maybe she can find a better one in the future. Only then did He Tian understand what Niu Daijin was thinking, and said with a smile, Brother Daijin, you are a fan of the authorities. Niu Daijin looked at He Tian in confusion. Do you like Xiao Yan? Do you want to love her forever? He Tian asked. Niu Daijin nodded. Are you afraid that you are not good enough for Xiao Yan? He Tian asked again. Niu Daijin nodded again. Can you guarantee that Chi Xiao Yan will be happy if she marries someone else? Niu Daijin shook his head this time. Since you like Xiao Yan, you should seize the opportunity. You can't guarantee that others will give Xiao Yan happiness, so you can guarantee it, He Tian said. Besides, Xiao Yan is not without friendship for you. As for Xiao Yan, she also said that if she gets admitted, she will stay in the unit for 2 years, and when she is old enough to get married, she will retire for you. She has already thought of this step. You are a man, why can't you have the courage? Confession. Can I? Niu Daijin stopped and looked at He Tian inquiringly. Of course, He Tian said, Brother Daijin, Xiao Yan is a good girl, and she likes you very much. You haven't confessed your feelings to her, which makes her very sad. She has even made up her mind to confess to you in person. It's just your attitude that makes her think you care about Chi Jiangguo's matter and feel very inferior. After hearing this, Niu Daijin no longer hesitated and said as if he had made up his mind, I don't care about that at all. Hey, I'll go right away. Niu Daijin quickly went directly to Secretary Chi's house, where Chi Xiao Yan was cooking. Secretary Chi, Liang Hongyu saw Niu Daijin coming and greeted them warmly. He Tian did not follow her, she had already reached this point. If Niu Daijin still doesn't take action, it can only be said that Niu Daijin is too pedantic, hesitant, and not worthy of Chi Xiao Yan. At night, Chi Xiao Yan came over to talk to He Tian while humming a little tune. Haha, don't cry anymore, He Tian was cutting Grandma Chi San's hair. When she saw Chi Xiao Yan coming over, she asked with a smile. Chi Xiao Yan's face turned red with embarrassment, but her eyes were excited and she said, Sister Tian Tian, you are so bad. He Tian Tian curled her lips and said, oh, hey, that means I'm fast. This is a newlywed's first den, and the matchmaker threw it too hard. Sister Tian Tian, Chi Xiao Yan was anxious, you know what I mean by coming. Grandma Chi San glanced at Chi Xiao Yan and said with a smile, did that new Daijin come to your house to propose marriage? Chi Xiao Yan was stunned, thinking that He Tian Tian said that. He Tian Tian shrugged and said he didn't say anything. Haha, Grandma Chi San smiled, I heard you crying before. Today new Daijin came to deliver a letter, and you are so shy, you guessed it right away. Chi Xiao Yan put aside her shyness and said, Third Grandma, Brother Daijin told my parents that he likes me and wants to come to my house to propose marriage. Then your parents agree, He Tian Tian felt relieved. Secretary Chi, Liang Hongyu had a good impression of new Daijin and should not refuse. Silly girl Grandma Chi San laughed, her parents wouldn't agree so easily. Ah, He Tian Tian was stunned, Secretary Chi, why doesn't Aunt Liang agree? You're so stupid. Xiao Yan's parents have worked so hard to raise a daughter. If the other party comes to propose marriage, no matter how good the man is, you have to refuse. How can you agree to it right away? Grandma Chi San said, and now although there are not as many rules as before, for marriage matters, no one can propose marriage by themselves. Parents must be asked, and even if there are no parents, elders of the clan must be invited to propose marriage. Oh, so that's it, He Tian Tian suddenly realized that if Huo Yingzhi came to propose marriage, his parents would probably be more reserved. What their grandma said is that my parents asked me for my opinion first, and then asked Brother Daijin to go home and talk to his elders. Chi Xiao Yan added, my parents like Brother Daijin very much. I say this just to be reserved. When He Tian Tian saw this, she was completely relieved. That's good, He Tian Tian said, let him work harder and he will cherish you more in the future. That's the truth, Grandma Chi San agreed, happy that Chi Xiao Yan had found a good family. Men are afraid of getting into the wrong profession, and women often marry the wrong man. If you enter the wrong profession, you can still change your profession, but if you marry the wrong person, even if you get divorced, it will be a second marriage. If you look again, you may not be able to find Ruyi. Let's say that after Niu Daijin returned, he told his family. Niu Daijin's parents were also honest people. When they heard that she was the sister of Niu Daijin's former good brother, they immediately agreed, hired a middleman, bought 6 gifts according to local customs, and came to propose marriage. After going back and forth several times, the marriage was finally decided. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 219. 217. Let's say that He Tian Tian saw off the happily Chi Xiao Yan. After returning home at night, he took out Huo Yingzhi's letter and read it carefully. The contents inside shocked He Tian Tian. Huo Yingzhi wants to break up with her? No. Isn't it possible? The letter I received a few days ago contains sweet words from the two of them. Why did he change his mind in just a few days? He Tian Tian thought she had made a mistake and looked at it again. Because this was the second time I read the letter, I was not as shocked as the first time I saw these contents. Huh? It's not right? Is the handwriting different from Huo Yingzhi's? He Tian Tian quickly picked up the letter Huo Yingzhi had written before, carefully compared the letters in her hand, and found that there were some differences between the two. In his previous life, He Tian Tian had encountered Qi Jiangguo looking for someone to imitate Huo Yingzhi's handwriting, but in this life, Qi Jiangguo was already in a labor camp. It was impossible to find someone to imitate Huo Yingzhi's handwriting. When he discovered that the handwriting was different, He Tian Tian also discovered something fishy. The content inside is cold and heartless. At the same time, the last word of the first 3 paragraphs is not the homophone of He Tian Tian. That was the secret code agreed between He Tian Tian and Huo Yingzhe. The letters between the two of them were always written like this. Even if Huo Yingzhe wanted to write a breakup letter, he would write it according to this agreement. It can be seen that this letter was not written by Huo Yingzhe himself. Just. Hey, He Tian Tian is a little messy. If it wasn't written by Huo Yingzhe, then who would have written it? He Tian Tian took out a piece of paper and drew a picture on the notebook. The little person with pigtails on the paper is He Tian Tian, and the little person with 3 hairs on his head is Huo Yingzhe. He Tian Tian was thinking, while she was dotting her pigtails and 3 hairs. In her previous life, Qi Jiangguo fell in love with him, so she found someone to imitate Qi Jiangguo's handwriting to destroy her relationship with Huo Yingzhe. In this life, Qi Jiangguo is gone and cannot do such a thing. At the same time, this letter was sent by Niu Daijin. The stamp on the envelope was the same as before, so we can deduce that it was not someone from He Tianation's side who was causing trouble. If it's not He Tianation's side, then something happened to Huo Yingzhe's side. Uncle Huo, Aunt Zhang likes her very much and will not do anything like beating a mandarin duck. There was only one possibility. A woman fell in love with Huo Yingzhe, so she wrote this letter to destroy the relationship between her and Huo Yingzhe. That must be it. He Tian Tian poked the notebook hard with the pen in his hand, breaking the notebook. While He Tian Tian was angry, she also lamented in her heart that there were many hardships between her and Huo Yingzhe. One of them got away, and now another one has arrived. However, He Tian Tian is no longer the He Tian Tian she used to be. Huo Yingzhe will be hers for the rest of her life, and she will not allow anyone to take Huo Yingzhe away. He Tian Tian calmed down and figured everything out. Now the unknown woman knew her existence, but He Tian Tian didn't know who that woman was or what she did. When He Tian Tian was sorting out the envelope, she pulled out a photo. It was quite nice. But in this life, He Tian Tian will not back down no matter what. He Tian Tian did not dare to go to Huo Yingzhe's work rashly for fear of affecting Huo Yingzhe's work. If He Tian Tian can't go, then when she receives Huo Yingzhe's letter next month, she will send this letter when she replies to Huo Yingzhe. Huo Yingzhe's current work content is very important, and imitating handwriting can be a big or small matter. If the woman's courtship fails and she imitates Huo Yingzhe's handwriting and writes a letter to some hostile elements, slandering Huo Yingzhe as a traitor, then something big will happen. The more He Tian Tian thought about it, the more afraid she became, so He Tian Tian decided not to wait until next month and wrote a letter to Huo Yingzhe now, asking him to take precautions and send the photo to Huo Yingzhe. This is the peach blossom he caused, let him kill it himself. The new army came to Kijia village every 3 days, so He Tianation's letter was sent out quickly. Let's not talk about Huo Yingzhe's side for now. Half a month later, Niu Daijin and Qi Xiaoyan finally got engaged. Qi Daijin gave Qi Xiaoyan some clothes for engagement, as well as a bicycle, a sewing machine, and a Shanghai brand watch, which turns 3 times and rings once. What is missing is the ring of a radio, which will be made up for when they get married. After the two talked about it, they felt like glue. If it weren't for Qi Xiaoyan's age, Niu Daijin would have wanted to get married immediately. Qi Zhenzhen was so angry when she heard that Niu Daijin and Qi Xiaoyan were engaged. It's rare for a good man to be possessed by Qi Xiaoyan. Dad, Qi Dazu is the local emperor in our village. He always sticks to their family in everything, Qi Zhenzhen said angrily. Originally, I am about the same age as Niu Daijin, and I look better than Qi Xiaoyan, that dry girl. That Niu Daijin, why do you look down on me? Qi Shulai kept smiling outside. After returning home, he took off the disguise on his face, lit up a dry cigarette, sat on a stool and took a few puffs. Okay, stop talking, I know what you said, Qi Shulai said, hurry up and cook. Ever since Qi Jiangguo was locked up in a labor camp, Chi Shulai had been holding this feeling in his chest. The quota for college admission has been distributed to the villages. If Chi Jiangguo doesn't do something like that, the place to go to university will definitely fall on Chi Jiangguo. But now it's better. Instead of becoming a college student that everyone envied, he has become a prisoner in a labor camp. Chi Shulai hurt Chi Jiangguo before, but now he is so angry. What an incompetent child, he did something like that. He had told Chi Jiangguo more than once before that if he performed well, he could go to college this year. But, hey, I won't say it anymore, I'm getting even more angry just thinking about it. Fortunately, he had seen this child get along with the daughter of the Zhang family, so he escaped from prison. When I come out later, the Zhang family will be here, I hope Jiangguo's child will be okay. Just because of this kid Jiangguo, their group has even less say in the village, otherwise he wouldn't have to be such a useless person every day. Hey, forget it, just think of it as a desperate act. Chi Jiangguo has the Zhang family there, so he doesn't need the help of his second uncle, who is an accountant. Now he needs to spend more energy to find a good in-law for his two daughters. As for the college quota, Chi Shulai wanted to give it to his daughter, but his two daughters had not graduated from junior high school and were not qualified. Since he was not qualified to use that quota, he did not want to let Chi Dazu get his wish. Chi Dazu had been suppressing him in the past. They studied together, but he couldn't read Chi Dazu. After getting married and starting a business, his family fortune couldn't compete with Chi Dazu's, and he couldn't even compete with Chi Dazu's children. Chi Dazu had 2 boys and 1 girl, and he only had 2 daughters. Hey, I should have known that. I shouldn't have just looked at the face. Although his wife was good looking, she was too thin and couldn't give birth to a son. If you don't listen to the old man's words, you will suffer a lot. This is absolutely true. It's too late to regret it now. If he doesn't have a son, he must find a better son-in-law. The 2 girls insisted that one of them should stay at home and inherit the incense from him. As for Chi Jiangguo, who originally asked Chi Jiangguo to provide for him until his death, after this incident, he also let it go. Chi Jiangguo, this nephew, is unreliable. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 220. 218. Chi Shulai thought of a bad idea and secretly let out the news, saying that Chi Dazu would give the university quota to young people in the city. When the people in the village heard this, they started talking a lot. It was 3 days later when the news reached the ears of village chief Chi, who was so angry that his teeth itched. Damn it, he never thought about giving up his place to young people in the city. He searched for a few people in the village and planned to choose from several junior high schools in the village. Now that the quota issue has been revealed, people in the village misunderstood him. The young people in the city also have high hopes for him. If they are disappointed, they will have opinions about him in the future. Village Chief Chi has not dared to leave his house these days for fear of being criticized. Chi Xiaoyan felt sorry for her father and knew that He Tiantian had many deserts, so she came to He Tiantian to seek advice. Sister Tiantian, what do you think we should do? Chi Xiaoyan asked with a bitter face. During this period, she had been in a state of joy and happiness because of her engagement. Now that something like this happened, her good mood was gone. He Tiantian asked, who does your father want to go to college? They are just a few junior high school students in the village. I am selecting them with the people in the village. Chi Xiaoyan smiled shyly. It is human nature for his father to do this. As a daughter, it is difficult to criticize her father. He Tiantian nodded and said, there are rumors like this. If we don't deal with them properly and choose someone from the village, the young people in the city will have objections, and maybe there will be conflicts. But there is only one quota, and it can't be handled well. If everyone is dissatisfied, village chief Chi will no longer do his job. Yes, my dad is worried too, Chi Xiaoyan said, you have a smart mind, Please help me think of a way. With the current situation, it is no longer possible to continue to cover up the situation and secretly decide the quota. If you can't do it secretly, then let's make it public. Anyway, it's not spring plowing yet, so there's plenty of time. Xiao Yan, village chief Chi, is in a dilemma now. It's not that the university quota is given to anyone, but that whoever gets this quota will be dissatisfied. In this case, then use the fairest method, he Tian said, looking at Chi Xiao Yan with a smile. The fairest way, Chi Xiao Yan asked, if there was one, why couldn't her father remember it? Yes, this quota belongs to Kijia village. Then use this quota and count all the qualified people. At the same time, if they want to go to college, let the whole village vote, he Tian explained said, what do you think? When Chi Xiao Yan heard this, her eyes lit up and she said, yes, in this case, college students are elected by everyone, not my dad. In this case, no matter who it is, they can't blame my dad. The method is very simple and effective. Doing this can also show the selflessness of village chief Chi. Those who make small calculations behind their backs have miscalculated, he Tian said. Anyway, she did not meet the conditions and could look at it objectively. This matter? It's indeed good. I'll tell my dad right now. Chi Xiao Yan rushed away happily. Since Chi Xiao Yan's health has improved, she has become much more cheerful. Grandma Chi San smiled when she saw the two little girls. It was so good to be carefree at such a young age. After listening to the method Chi Xiao Yan learned from He Tian, village chief Chi slapped his thigh. Yes. Anyway, without his daughter this time, who goes to college has little to do with him. The quota is determined by election, which is a manifestation of his selflessness. Okay, let's do it like this, village chief Chi chuckled. Let your second brother inform the villagers and hold a meeting at the village branch. Chi Xiao Yan quickly went to the next door to deliver the message. Chi Erga was doing housework. When he heard something happened, he was relieved of his work and went to notify the villagers. Village chief Chi Shulai, Zhao Dejiao, and the two captains quickly arrived at the village branch. Chi Shulai has a lot of free time, but he wants to see what kind of medicine is sold in Chi Dazu Gourd. Village chief Chi looked around at everyone and said seriously, there has been a lot of discussion in the village recently, everyone knows it. Several people nodded. This has a huge impact on me and our village branch. This quota belongs to Kijia village, not to me, Chi Dazu, nor to anyone here. It is understandable that everyone is dissatisfied. In this case, let everyone make the decision. This is not the case. Some people will say that I abused my power. When village chief Chi said this, he glanced at Chi Shulai. Everyone followed village chief Chi's eyes and looked at Chi Shulai. Chi Shulai was startled, his face a little unnatural. Haha, this is a good idea, not bad, Chi Shulai said sarcastically in the eyes of several people. How to choose the candidates? Zhao Dejiao asked. Are there not only people in our village who agree with the commune's regulations, but also young people in the city? Village chief Chi smiled brightly and said, as long as you meet the conditions, you can do it. Young people from other cities left their hometowns and came to our village. They made meritorious service in our Kijia village last year, so they are qualified. Okay, let's do some statistics. Those who meet the conditions and want to fight for this quota are all candidates, Zhao Dejiao said. Then let's study and see who meets the conditions. Everyone was convinced and began to study candidates. Except for Chi Shulai, who was unhappy, the others discussed it enthusiastically. Village chief Chi personally wrote the notice with a brush and posted it on the wall of the village branch. For a while, the people in the village were dumbfounded and began to wonder whether their children were eligible. Anyone who meets the requirements should come and sign up. At this time, it costs nothing to go to college, and the state also provides money. After graduation, you will directly become a full-time employee, eating state food, and an iron rice bowl. Kijia village became lively because of this incident, and those who met the requirements began to go around and solicit votes. Those who are eligible to vote must be residents of Kijia village over the age of 18, and must have no stain or criminal record. Some people with bad composition cannot participate in the election. This is also to prevent tracing by the unit. Village Chief Chi is a very smart person. If you want to do something, then do it big. Village Chief Chi wrote a report overnight and submitted it to the unit. This matter was done well, which is also a typical example. The recruitment of workers, peasants, and soldiers college students is based on a combination of mass recommendation, leadership approval, and school review. Their village is the first batch of worker, peasant, and soldier college students. If they do well, they will be a model. Sure enough, Lu Dehai took the report submitted by Village Chief Chi very seriously. This is the only quota for college students in Daowen County, which is extremely precious. If the operation is done well, it will also be his political achievement. So Lu Dehai personally gave instructions and said that he would personally supervise on the day of the election. Lu Dehai also began to write reports and submit them to superior leaders. The superior unit was very happy and immediately gave an approval, asking Lu Dehai to pay more attention and successfully complete this task. If done properly, it will be established as a model. This incident fully demonstrates that the people make the decision, and at the same time, it also fully implements the spirit and significance of recruiting workers, peasants, and soldiers into universities. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 221. 219. The young people in the city were also very happy when they heard the news. Kijia village is the home turf of the villagers. They don't have an advantage, but Village Chief Chi at least gave them a chance. Furthermore, how did the quota in Kijia village come about? The young people in the city also knew that it was obtained by using the prey in the mountains behind Kijia village. But this is what Wang Lei and others think, but Li Mingkai, Lin Ziru, and Huang Jingli don't think so. Huang Jingli knew that even if she had such a good opportunity, it would not be her turn, so she stopped thinking. Li Mingkai secretly regretted that he had neglected Qi Xiaoyan because he thought it was interesting to be in the publicity team before. If he had caught up with Qi Xiaoyan, Qi Dazu would have arranged these things for him. That's a university. As soon as I graduate, I will be working in the city. Alas, it's too late to regret. But now that the university has started recruiting students, even though it is not possible to pass the exam, as long as you work hard, you can always give it a try. Qi Xiaoyan was already engaged, and Li Mingkai didn't dare to provoke her. There must be no stain in the recommendation requirements. If Qi Xiaoyan does it secretly, even if Qi Xiaoyan agrees, it will still be a stain. This idea won't work, absolutely not. Qi Xiaoyan can't do it, so whose girl in Kijia village is suitable? Li Mingkai thought for a while and then took his sights on Qi Shulai's daughter Qi Fenfen. Every time that little girl saw him, her face was blushing and her eyebrows were affectionate. It's just that he didn't like this girl at that time and felt that there was no benefit in being good to this girl. But it's different now, this is a quota for college students. If he becomes Qi Shulai's son-in-law, he will be from Kijia village. He looked decent, and Qi Shulai's face also felt bright. In this case, Qi Shulai would not be able to take care of him. Li Mingkai secretly made up his mind to take advantage of all available opportunities around him to get the chance to go to college. He must not stay in the countryside for the rest of his life without being able to go back. As for Lin Ziru, her mind became more active. This year's quota has been turned upside down, and she has no chance. However, next year, that may not be the case. She often goes to the commune propaganda team and she knows many people in the commune. With the help of those big leaders, are you still afraid of the village party secretary, small accountant and small team leader below? Start working hard now, maybe she will get the spot next year. Because there is a quota for college students, everyone has their own thoughts. Under the organization of village chief Chi and several village cotters, Lu Dehai personally came to the scene to supervise. Because many people are illiterate, it is a bit difficult to vote anonymously. In the end, it was village chief Chi. Old man Chi thought of a way. The villagers went into the village branch one by one. Inside, Old man Chi, Lu Dehai and his assistant Lu Dehai wrote the names mentioned by the villagers on small notes on the spot. Then the villagers took the note and threw it into a barrel in front of the whole village. After all the eligible people had voted, Lu Dehai started to count the votes in person, and his assistant counted the votes on the blackboard. All steps were under supervision. There is no way to lie in front of everyone. Everyone's mood fluctuated with the voice of the person singing the votes, and they were very nervous. In the end, the one with the highest number of votes was Chi Ergu. Lu Dehai's final count showed that Chi Ergu had 89 votes, Wang Lei had 48 votes, and another young man in the village had 45 votes. The rest were all 20 or 30 votes, probably all voted by his own family members. Comrade Chi Ergu, do you have a name? Lu Dehai frowned and said, this name is not dignified. A dignified college student is called Chi Ergu, which is too unpleasant. Chi Ergu was feeling dizzy. He knew that he was on the short list, but he didn't give any hope. Zhao Dejiao was stunned and said quickly, yes, he has a great name, and his household registration is Chi Rongguo. Chi Rongguo, Lu Dehai thought for a moment, this is a good name, and it is very honorable to serve the country. You are a worker, peasant, and soldier college student elected by our Daowen County. When you go to school in the future, you must work hard and serve the country as soon as possible. Chi Ergu finally realized, oh my god, he is going to college. Ergu, no, Rongguo, the leader is talking to you. Zhao Dejiao pinched Chi Ergu and was very excited. In order to avoid suspicion, she did not go around canvassing for her son. Unexpectedly, her son got more votes. This not only shows that her son is good, but also shows that her usual work is in place. Chi Ergu said quickly, thank you Lu Dehai, thank you Lu Dehai for your teaching. Okay, your quota will be reported. If you have time, review it at home and get good grades. Lu Data said, we are done with our work and it's time to go back. Village Chief Chi persuaded him to stay, saying, it's already dark and it's not safe to walk at night. It's better to go back early tomorrow morning. Lu Dehai also knew that it was cold at night and the mountain road was difficult to walk, so he agreed. Lu Dehai and his assistant stayed at the home of village chief Chi, and Chi Shulai and Zhao Dejiao came to entertain them. People from other villages heard about what happened in Kijia village, and many people came to watch. Especially after hearing that Chi Ergu could go to college, everyone was as jealous as a rabbit. Lu Lingli saw He Tian, came over and asked, Tian, Chi Ergu in your village is so lucky. He has a place in college. Seeing that it was Lu Lingli, He Tian smiled and said, yes, but this was chosen by everyone, so it's very fair. Why don't you fight for this spot? Lu Lingli asked with a smile, you received many compliments in Kijia village last year, why are you not even qualified to be a candidate? He Tian smiled, she and Lu Lingli had no holiday at all, they just exchanged a few sour words when they met. Unexpectedly, after seeing each other again in Nanji, she immediately realized that Lu Lingli was targeting her and trying to squeeze her out. Haha, I just graduated from junior high school and have just participated in social practice for 1 year, so I am not qualified. Sister Lingli is qualified, but there are no places in your village, which is a pity, He Tian said with a smile. She finally understood that people are kind-hearted. When others bully a horse, it is good to be ridden by others. Suffering to speak out will not make those people retreat, it will only make them push for more and be greedy. Therefore, He Tian will not let go of anyone who targets her in the future, nor will she be tolerant to these people. Hearing what He Tian said, Lu Lingli's face froze, and she smiled and said, Tian, your life is better, you are assigned to such a good village. Not only is there enough food to eat, but you also have the opportunity to go to college. When Lu Lingli said this, she really meant it? He Tian was indeed luckier than Lu Lingli. After hearing Lu Lingli's words, he did not refute. Actually, it's the same everywhere, He Tian said hypocritically, it all depends on people. If you work hard, you can always achieve something. Then I'm going to learn from you, Lu Lingli said, not believing He Tian's lies. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 222. 220. He Tian smiled and didn't care. Lingli, let's go. Lu Lingli's friend called her not far away, looking here from time to time. Hey, that's it, Lu Lingli said with a smile, Tian, I'm leaving. I'll come and play with you again when I have time. Okay, He Tian said with a fake smile, since Lu Lingli is like this, then she should be like this too. Not quarrelsome, but tit for tat. After just 2 steps, Lu Lingli said, Tian, it was my fault before. I envied you for having a good family and having good clothes. Even in the countryside, you are still better than me in everything, so I am a little mentally unbalanced and jealous of you. I hope you don't blame me, I will try my best to adjust myself in the future. Lu Lingli's face was calm, without the fake smile and bitterness. He Tian was confused and didn't understand why Lu Lingli suddenly seemed to be a different person. Actually, everyone has their own life, just live your own life. When you envy me, why don't I envy you? He Tian also said seriously, wanting to see what Lu Lingli wanted to do. In her previous life, He Tian envied Lu Linggang for having both parents and brothers and sisters. Later, through her own efforts, she was admitted to a technical secondary school. Ah, Lu Lingli was puzzled, there are still times when you envy me. Yes, He Tian smiled bitterly, it's just that you don't know. As long as you don't be mean to me, I won't be eloquent in trying to push you away. He Tian is single now. As you treat me, I will treat you as well. I didn't expect that, Lu Lingli smiled, turned around and left, without asking He Tian what he envied her for. After Lu Lingli left, He Tian found Chi Xiaoyan and went home together. The next day, after seeing off the cotters in the commune, He Tian went to find Chi Xiaoyan to go to the livestock team, followed by Chi Ergu. Brother Ergu, do you have anything to do with the animal husbandry team? He Tian asked curiously, especially when he saw Chi Ergu's wry smile, he became even more curious. After all, Chi Ergu had just gotten lucky and could go to college. Chi Ergu smiled bitterly and said, I won't hide it from you, Tian. Although it has been several years since I graduated from junior high school, my grades at that time were average and I was not admitted to high school. It has been several years, and the content in the textbooks, I have almost forgotten it. I will go to college in 2 months. How can I learn the content in college if I don't have a good foundation? That's true. If you don't read for a long time, you will indeed forget the content of the book. He Tian smiled, fortunately, I can still review it if I have time. Chi Ergu nodded and said, it is indeed glorious to be able to go to college now, but if my grades are not good and I cannot graduate, then I will have no shame in going home. Chi Ergu is an honest person and feels pressure. As long as you study hard, your grades will not be bad. He Tian encouraged, I have textbooks there. If you need them, I can lend them to you first. Chi Xiaoyan was even more happy when she saw He Tian taking the initiative to lend Chi Ergu books. In the past, Only Chi Jiangguo attended high school in the village, and his family was the only one with high school textbooks. Now that there is a holiday between the two families, it is not easy for them to borrow textbooks from Chi Jiangguo. She knew that He Tiantian had a textbook, but she was a little embarrassed to open her mouth. Now that He Tiantian has said it in person, there is no need for her to speak. Thank you, Tiantian. Chi Ergu smiled honestly and scratched his head. He Tiantian had a good impression of Chi Ergu, and was considered honest and honest. As I said before, although Chi Ergu didn't have great abilities in his previous life, he had one thing that others couldn't match because he could always follow the right person. You're welcome, He Tiantian agreed. This is the kind of lucky person that Grandma Chi-san often said. Chi Ergu followed him to the animal husbandry team and took out his old junior high school textbook. It turns out that he started reading last night. He wrote down all the questions he didn't know and the words he didn't know, and asked Professor Wang and Professor Gu for advice. He Tiantian saw Chi Ergu's notebook. The words on it were powerful and beautiful. With Professor Gu and Professor Wang here, it is very easy to tutor Chi Ergu Junior High School. Chi Ergu is also serious. Although he can't do anything to explain, after Chi Ergu understands a type of question, he can draw inferences about other cases. He Tiantian also studied, but she asked about high school courses and junior high school. He Tiantian had just graduated and had good grades, so she didn't need to ask. Zhao Dejiao doesn't let Chi Ergu do anything now, and just asks him to study hard and take extra classes. When he graduates from college and becomes a public servant, she will have a bright face. Furthermore, the person Chi Ergu was engaged to was the daughter of the village party secretary of Yangdaogu. When the village party secretary heard that his future son-in-law had got a place to go to university, he was so surprised that he couldn't open his mouth from ear to ear. Quickly asked the mother-in-law at home to pack some things and send them to her son-in-law. Firstly, it is to care for the future son-in-law. Secondly, it is also to remind the husband's family that you are engaged and you cannot give up in the end. Village Chief Yang also asked his daughter to make a pair of shoes for Chi Ergu. Zhao Dejiao has been a women's director for so many years, so he naturally understands what the other party means. He makes an exception and allows Chi Ergu to take a day off, tidy up, take a piece of floral cloth from home, and visit his fiancée Yang Xiaoxiu. The Yang family wants to get married. Zhao Dejiao wanted his son to go to college without worries. He had a wife and children at home, so he couldn't feel at ease in school. Zhao Dejiao couldn't make up his mind, so he went to see village chief Qi. He Tiantian and Qi Xiaoyan were in the house. When they heard what Zhao Dejiao said, they secretly lay beside the door to listen. I can understand your worries, but have you ever thought about what if Ergu comes to school and falls in love with those female students? Secretary Qi asked, adding an extra layer of worry. No, it can't be. Zhao Dejiao hesitated slightly. Her son was so honest, he didn't look like someone who would mess around. Secretary Qi took a puff of dry cigarette and said earnestly, do you still remember Er Xiong's father in the next village? His father went to war, leaving mother and son at home and suffered so much. Later, his father came forward and thought that we could be a family. They reunited and lived a good life, but when his father came and received a divorce letter, his mother was immediately furious. Yeah, I've heard about this before, but my second dog. Director Zhao said, my second dog wouldn't do such a thing, right? Auntie, you can't talk so full of words. One moment, another moment. The Yang family is so worried. If we don't agree, they will be even more unsure. Besides, it was originally scheduled for May, so we can't because the marriage will not be held at school. It will be difficult for the girls to raise their heads in the village. Those who are foul-mouthed will definitely say nasty things in front of that girl Xiaoxiu. After a long time, they can get over it even if nothing happens. Something, Secretary Qi said earnestly. he and Yangdaoga village chief are still brothers.